Hello, this is FizzCat, and today I am back and I want to talk about arena and speed tuning, and also just turn order in general, and how to build speed on a champion. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look. I just pulled High Khatun yesterday, and I want to walk through gearing her up, but I also want to talk about uh, why I'm building the champs I'm building and what I plan to do with them and why. Um, Basically, I have Gom already built. He's at 50 and he's going to be at 60 soon. He's a great champion and he brings speed and he brings stuns and leech, and I am using him in general content as my speed booster. Um, so that sort of begs the question, why am I even building High Khatun? Well, the reason is because Gom's a healer and because I need him to stay alive through the waves, and against the clan boss, I have to build him pretty tanky, which means he's reasonably fast. He's over 200. What he's 208, but for arena, that's not particularly fast, and and although he does bring the stun in arena, to be honest, I don't have a lot of very tanky champions who can really survive getting hit. Gom himself isn't that strong yet. He's only at 50, and he's just not very tanky yet because he needs better accessories. But the reason that I would look at maybe using High Khatun instead in arena is because she doesn't really have to do anything else there. I'm just building there for speed. If I can't tank much, then the only way I'm really going to win is to outpace the other side and get in and kill everyone before they get a chance to do very much. So, and if I'm only doing that, then I can actually build her. I don't have to 6-star her. I can just take her to 40 or maybe 50. She is a good champ. So although I don't advocate building up a whole lot of 50s on your account, you should really concentrate on taking champs up to 60. Having a few that are actually good champs that you're going to use in particular places is not necessarily a terrible thing. So my thinking is I'm going to build High Khatun, and because I also don't have an arena aura, I don't have Wukong on here or Artor or anybody like that with an arena aura. The best I've got is High Khatun, so that makes her kind of ideal for that. And in terms of who I'm choosing in a team and why I'm choosing them, and the speeds I'm choosing to run them at, basically what you want to do, and this is not just for arena, this is for everywhere. You use your speed booster to get in there first, and of course, speed everyone up. The typical speed booster, I gave her the 3 stars so that she could actually get the big version, because it's only a small version until you 3-star ascend her. It is 30% increased speed, and in her case, she also boosts the turn meter, which is nice. So she's really good at that job. Everybody else can run a little bit slower. Now, that doesn't mean, I have a speed booster, I don't have to worry about getting everyone to at least 170 speed. That's not how it works. But basically, it means that I have a better chance of getting everyone to get a turn. And so I want her to go first. There's also Spirithost, who I am going to build for this. There's a classic. You can find videos on this. The classic, very early game arena team is Diabolist and Spirithost and War Maiden and Kale, because everyone but Kale is farmable. You can get them out of campaign. And basically, Diabolist boosts speed. Actually, in this case, you want Spirithost to go first, because unlike High Khatun, Diabolist's speed also comes with an AoE hit, so you want her attack to be boosted. So you boost attack with Spirithost, and she also has a little bit of a. It's just 10%, but she does a 10% speed boost, and then she boosts everyone attack. And then you use Diabolus to boost speed, and she boosts the speed for your nukers, which would be first you have War Maiden, who's going to decrease defense, and then Kale, who's going to nuke. And now I'm not going to do that because I have Zargala, who's better. And I could use either Kale or Lemonici. I alternate them depending on the affinity of the champions I'm fighting in Arena and elsewhere. My Kale is actually great because he's got the 6-star blessing on him, and which I really lucked out with that. So he's strong enough to be a pretty decent nuker, even in lifesteal. But anyway, back to High Khatun. She's kind of Diabolist is actually very good. She's got that increased speed. She doesn't have the little turn meter boost that goes with that. But her downfall is that she's very, very squishy. Even when she's maxed, she's only got like 700 something defense, base defense. And High Khatun's is something like 1100. It's an enormous difference. And in terms of survivability, Diabolist is kind of weak there. Also, she really doesn't do as much damage. And a fully built High Khatun can actually, she's not a nuker, but she can do some decent damage, and she's got better debuffs overall, and she's just stronger. Plus, she also brings that aura, which, of course, Diabolist doesn't have. So if you're choosing between the two, for Arena, I would go with High Khatun. So anyway, let's take a look at the build. I'm going to start with her. And let's see. What we want to do is go into gear here. And the way I find the fastest gear for my account is go into the filter, and we'll put on the fitting room here so we can try on some different things. You want priority stats, and then choose speed and high. And also, I'm going to choose equipped because I might poach some gear from somebody else, possibly. And then I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to hit hide set filters. And now all of a sudden it's it ranked by all my fastest gear is ranked here from very fastest all the way down. Now the downside is you also have the boots, which of course they're all going to be the same, except depending on how whether or not they've been leveled up or not, they're going to all be at that same rank. Now for High Khatun, as I said, I'm only using her in Arena. Well, in Faction Wars too, of course. She does have some skills that are nice with some speed, with some accuracy on them, but I'm not leaning too heavily into that. The fact is that in Arena, generally the rule is for Arena champs, you either build up a bunch of resistance, or you really don't bother with any, and you sort of double down on attack, or for your nukers, for instance. You don't really worry about resistance so much. So especially in early Arena, basically hardly anyone is going to have resistance, and if they do have resistance, probably giving her 200 accuracy isn't going to be enough to break it anyway. I mean, if they've got a really tanky champion in there, they're going to have built it up enough that there's kind of no point bothering with a little bit, with I want a little bit because it should be enough to take out the nukers on, because she's got a slow, and she's got a on her A3, she's got some turn meter reduction in there on the enemy, and it'd be nice to land those, but it's not a huge priority for me. And if she can land some of those in Faction Wars, that's great too. But my main focus is getting her fast enough, specifically for Arena. So looking at the boots, it looks like all my fastest boots here are already on other champs, except we've got the speed boots, and we've got the accuracy boots. And I'm hoping we're going to try those on, because ideally I would like to get maybe an accuracy set on her. if we can do that. And just get a little bit. I'm not aiming for 200, as I said. Just some if we can squeeze it in. But we'll keep those speed boots in mind too. And because the other thing is that there's really no point. I mean, she does give 30% more speed to my champs, but if my there's no point in driving her up to 250 260 speed if all my nukers are under 200, because that 30% is not going to be enough. If my nukers are 180 speed, then that boost is not going to be enough. There'll be a gap in there. I'm sure you've fought teams where they have a speed boost, but then nobody else goes, and it's because their speed booster is so much faster than the rest of their team that that there's a gap, and you can squeeze in and kill them all if you're lucky. So we don't want them to be able to do that to us. We just want, I'm going to aim for probably around 225 to 230 speed, because all my nukers are under 200. They're all down around 180 or so. So we don't need to go really fast, just pretty fast. So now that we've got the boots done, I'm going to take these and select everything except the boots, so we don't have to look at those anymore. And now here's an interesting gear thing. Remember, you've heard, I'm sure, don't use flat stats. Don't, immediately sell all your gear with flat stats. Well, there's an exception to every rule. And I think I also mentioned in other videos that anytime you roll speed, it makes gear a higher priority than it would be otherwise. Even bad gear can become good gear if it rolls into speed enough. Well, these gloves here are flat defense, but they've got 20 speed, and they are literally the fastest gear on my account, except for actual speed boots. So they are suddenly great. Now, I'm not sure I want to use these or not, because I'd like to get some that actually have some real defense on her for faction wars if we can manage it, and they don't have any accuracy. But for now, we're going to try those on. And let's see. This is the second fastest piece on the account, and nobody's wearing it. So we're definitely going to try that on and see if maybe we can pick up another perception, which will give us not only the accuracy, but a little more speed as well. Now, let's just go down the row here. This has 19 speed, which is great. But I'm also thinking if I can get a speed set. I'm not just looking at speed sets because a speed set, that actually might be a good choice. It's got it's still fast, but it's also in a speed set. Let's see how that goes. We'll try that on. Putting that set on gives me an additional 12 speed, which is nice, but I mean, these gloves alone gave me 20. So speed sets plus really, really great rolls into the substats together is how you get really, really good fast gear. But especially early on, a lot of the time, just, that this roll here, this single chest piece has more speed than I would get from using a speed set. If I used 6 pieces of speed, I'm looking at, for a champ with around 100 speed, I'm looking at an additional, what's that about, 36 speed. But if I can get 20 off a single piece, I mean, boots can't roll substats here, but 20, 40, 60, 80, I could potentially get 100 speed if each of my pieces had substats as good as those horrible gloves there, otherwise horrible gloves, without even having boots on. So don't lock yourself into thinking, oh, I have speed gear on, therefore my champ is as fast as it's going to get, because that's not true. So yeah, these are pretty close. Let's keep building and see how we go. So the fastest weapon we've got, that's very nice. It even has a little accuracy. We're gonna try that on. And now what I would really like is, let's see what we've got. Okay, at this point, I do like this shield. I know we're going to go with the shield, so I'm going to stop looking at shields. And I'm probably going to go with that chest piece. So let's look at the top here. Let's see. Just for now, I want to see what we have in helmets. This is nice. It has speed and accuracy. This has attack and speed, but we're getting very fast at this point. We might actually be getting faster than my nukers need. So this one also gives me some. It matches the set there and gives me some extra accuracy that way. So I think maybe that would be good. Yeah, we're already at 235. I feel like at this point we're actually running a little too fast. So I think I want to try, let's take these gloves off and look for some different gloves that are maybe, okay, that could work. Those aren't wonderful, but that's a flat stat. Some HP might be nice on her, actually. At this point, I don't even have a speed set, though, on her. Let's see. Let's try this. Okay, so we have one speed set. She's very low accuracy. She's at 227, which is a decent... it's kind of about where I want her. And we'll try... I wonder if I have a decent weapon in perception. I think I'm gonna... Let's see, that one, it did have a little accuracy on it. I think that's fine. I'm gonna stop there. That's a good speed. I think, okay, I've got this ring here that will bring her a little more accuracy. There we go, 68. 68 is probably enough that it'll probably work in arena unless they actually build for resistance, which a lot of champs don't. So I think that might be adequate for now, and hopefully I can pick up more in the other accessories. If I take her to 5-star, then hopefully, well, actually, if I can get her into another piece of pinpoint, that would be ideal. If any of these, this is the only one with accuracy on it, but that would actually boost her speed another 10, which is, as I said, is a little too fast, but it also gives room for my other champions to grow, because hopefully I'll have more that are going fast down the road. So, we'll play around with that and maybe hopefully farm a little more pinpoint too. So let's go ahead and equip that. So she's going to be my fastest champ. And then let's see if we can throw something on Spirithost real quick here. Let's see what's left. Now, the nice thing about Spirithost, whoops, not preset manager, sorry. The great thing about Spirithost is she doesn't require any accuracy. She doesn't have any debuffs, or she doesn't do anything to the enemy except occasionally hit them. So all she really needs is speed. Now, I probably will take her to at least 40 because I like her in Faction Wars. She's a good debuffer, and I want her to stay alive long enough to do something. So, um, 40, maybe even 50 if I really struggle in getting a debuffer down the road. Her cooldowns are a little long, but she's actually one of my favorite of the login. The not the login champs, but the um, the ones that you can farm from campaign. I think she's really quite good. I don't think she's worth 6 stars, but she can really be useful for you. So, okay, here we've got speed, and we're going to hide the set filters. And I don't feel like actually taking any gear from other champs. So I think we're just going to leave off the equipped bit and see what we can do. Trying. We've got speed boots right there. They're only 4-star, but that's 35 speed right there. So that's nice. I think she'd be a really good candidate for these because there's no accuracy on them, and they are very fast. So that'd be great. And let's see. So we don't need gloves anymore, and we don't need boots, so we can do that. That was a nice chest piece. We can try that on. And let's see, for weapons, that's she really, I'm aiming for over 200 for sure because I want her to be faster than my nukers are right now, and faster. I'm hoping that I can boost the speed on my nukers up to closer to 200. So maybe between 210 and 220 might be a good spot for her speed wise to make sure she's faster than the nukers. I don't want to use a set that is, that I might want to use for, for instance, lifesteal is valuable for, and this one has attack and crit rate on it. I probably want to use that on an actual nuker. So, maybe just this one. We'll give it a try. It is, if she goes a little faster, it doesn't matter. That's a pretty nice shield there. Any of these would be fine, I think. This one's already kind of rolled up, so and if she does outpace High Khatun, that's fine too. Let's see. Now we've got this one. That's got accuracy. I kind of like that. I kind of want to save it for someone else. That's a strong candidate, I think. That would be 2. Let's just go with this one. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, it gives her a little HP and defense for staying alive in Faction Wars, and she's fast, just a little slower. She's faster than she needs to be, really, but she's a little slower than High Khatun, so that's probably good for her. And she doesn't have a ring. She's only 30, so we'll equip that. Okay, now we're going to look at how these guys actually play together. And oh wait, just as a reference here, oops. Okay, so Lemonisi is, she's only 176 here. Both is a little faster, but I don't use him as much in arena, except sometimes if I'm going against force affinity, he can be useful because of course he's strong affinity and he's pretty tanky, but I just don't use him. He doesn't bring the things I really want in arena. So Kale, let's see, what is he? 187. So yeah, those are a pretty decent range in there. And well, as I said, he's, well, I wouldn't use him with the others anyway. Zargala is, let's see, Zargala's 207. So yeah, she's, that's why I wanted Spirithost to be at least 210, because I wanted her to be able to boost Zargala. And hopefully if I get a banner for Zargala and she's faster, then I think there's enough room left over in there for Spirithost to still do her job. Now, before we actually get going with going into Arena, I did want to actually show you the Deadwood Jedi speed tuning calculator for Arena. Now, the thing about speed tunes is there are two kinds, and one is very hard, and it's the one that scares everyone off, and the other one is just what I was talking about, which is, making sure that your champs are going in the right order to be most effective, and that they are that one is not necessarily outpacing the other. So you don't have gaps in your arena team where the speed champ is so fast that then the others just sit around and there's a gap in there where they could get hit. So I'm going to put you on pause for a second and open up the Deadwood Jedi site and just take a real quick look. The other kind of speed tuning is the kind for Clan Boss where it's very, very exact speeds to make sure that your champs are going right when the boss hits all the way through 50 turns, which is it's certainly not impossible. We do it all the time, but it is much more demanding and not something you're necessarily going to be doing right away. But don't let this term speed tune be too intimidating, because there are simpler speed tunes that are literally just about making sure some of your champs are just going fast enough to achieve certain things. So okay, I'm going to pause this and get back to you in a second. Okay, we're back over here on Deadwood Jedi, the arena calculator. It's just deadwoodjedi.com, as you can see up on the top. And this is, I've already plugged in I'm not using the advanced configuration, just the basic, as basic as you can get. High Khatun. Oh, you know what? I forgot what, I think it was, I want to say 227. Oh, let me put you on pause for a second. I'm going to double check. Okay, I'm back. Yeah. High Khatun speed is 227. So I already put her in 19% all battles. She's the fastest champ. For if you were, well, never mind. I'm not bothering. You can choose things like sets and all that, but that's really more detailed than you need. If you're trying to absolutely get down to exactly the right speed, like you don't want even a single 1-point gap in any way whatsoever, and you're pushing to the absolute limit, then you can enter things like sets and lore of steel and all that kind of thing, champion role, whatever. Those things are not that relevant when you're just doing a quick, I mean, I'm fighting in Silver Arena. This is not really a big concern of mine right now. But it gives you the idea, it gives you an approximate goal to shoot for here in terms of where you want your champions. And I did put in the skill here. We're using her A2, Rally the Horde, which is the one that boosts the turn meter and does the increased speed buff. And now down here, I put in Spirithost, and it says she only needs to go at 187.69, so 188 speed. That's the speed, and that's with her to bring in her A2. Of course, she's much faster, but that's fine. And then Zargala needs to be at least 185. And then Kale at least 183. I put in, I don't think they have Lemony listed yet. It's a little bit outdated here. But so basically that shows me that I'm probably not going to cut out with those champions. But let's say I pushed her up, I'm getting further into arena and I move her up to, let's say 260 speed. Well, now, Spirithost has to run at 219, Zargala 215, Kale 213. And that's pretty fast for Kale. So, both Zargala and Kale, then there would be a gap. And they would, even with High Khatun's speed boost, then they would get cut out if it was actually that fast. So let me put you on pause and we'll just run back real quick and go back. Okay, I am back in Arena, and I've got things set up here. So High Khatun is boosting, and for this team, just well, actually, Lemonisi would be great against these guys, but just for fun, I'm going to try and run this with Kale. See if maybe we can outdo Alice. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be faster. This is a you can see my team power is only 65,000, but that's not really because. High Khatun and Spirithost are so low that doesn't really count. The important thing is that Zargala and Kale are higher than that. So we shouldn't have any problem with any teams and at lower team power at all. So we'll give this a go. I expect that, but this should show you. Oh, I should probably take it off. Well, I'll just let it run. There we go. Oh, see, Alice is a little bit of a challenge here. But you see, they all ran fast enough that nobody got a turn. And that's kind of what we're aiming for. This one may be a little harder. They have some slightly better champs in here. We'll take it off. We'll run it manually here. It's important to know who you're fighting. Get to know the champions. We'll do speed. Strengthen. And Zargala, by the way, she can nuke. She's only at 50 right now, but you can see she did some pretty good damage here. And that's a problem. Okay. Okay, yeah. That's Alice. Let's see. Let's try this one. Now, Tholin's kind of a he's tanky and he's a pain, and also Kale is very weak against him, so we're definitely bringing in Lemonisi. Now the fact is that these guys, they don't have any speed champs. They're probably not very fast. I could probably do just as well bringing in my Gom for for getting the speed lead, and just using Spirithost to boost otherwise. In fact, I think we're going to do that for this one, because I think they can use the attack boost from the aura, and I really don't think they're going to outpace me. Now, if I'm wrong, we're dead, but let's give it a try. Because having that many squishy champions is a little bit of a liability, of course. There we go. Yeah, they're pretty slow. In fact, they're so slow, I'm going to try a stun instead of the speed boost, because I really don't think I need the speed boost right now. It helps a little bit. Oof. Okay, yeah, he is a tough one. Let's see if we can take him out. There we go. Okay. And see, that's the thing. By knowing your champions and having an idea, pay attention to the affinity. Pay attention to who you're fighting. Are they tanky champs? Are they just a bunch of, like this one? These are all very none of them are tanky except for Alice, and she's only 1 star, so she may not be that tanky. But they all do a lot of damage. But there also are no speed boosting champs in this team. So I'm going to take a guess here and say that we can get away without High Khatun in this one as well. And one other thing, we're just going to do this one. This one's pretty close, so I am going to boost there. Oh, okay. We're going to debuff. Try and stun. Oh, good. Okay. Now we're set. But, oh, yeah. In terms of team power, the number one things that influence team power are crit rate and resistance. I mean, sorry, not crit rate, crit damage and resistance. So if you look at them and, they've got a whole bunch of nukers and really, really high team power, They may be so squishy you can just wipe them right out. It isn't necessarily a good team comp. It just means that maybe they just have a lot of crit damage. You don't even know if they have 100% crit rate. Um, so at least in early arena. I mean, later on, of course, you kind of know. But also, if you look at it and you see defensive champions, or not defensive, but support champions, and it's a very high team power, it may mean that they have some champs built up with a bunch of resistance, which may be a problem if you don't have a whole lot of accuracy built up. But don't be scared off by higher team power, because it's much more important to have a good team comp. These, because it's such a low level, most of these players don't even have speed champions in here, and when they do, like Wukong has a speed aura, but if they don't have any speed boosters in addition to that, then it's not going to do any good. And the fact that he doesn't have the speed aura in front here tells me that this team over here isn't really prioritizing speed. But I do think, because we have I think in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to move Lemony C up front, and I'm going to put in Kale, because what we have here is we have spirit champs that we need Kale to take out. But I don't think, well, they might be too fast for us. I'm not really sure. But I think we're going to need a lot of damage to take out that Alice, and possibly also Skeletor. So let's try that composition and just see what happens. It might have been better to put in High Khatun. I'm not sure, but we'll see how fast they are. Oh yeah, see, they're not fast at all. So that worked. But that's because I'm in Silver 3. Once you're in Gold, you're going to have to be faster. There we go. Yeah, lots of damage. They're dead. So... but that's the key. Just outspeed them. And again, as the further up you go, the more speed you'll need. But just keep trying things and keep experimenting and see what works. Don't be afraid. Don't just stick to one team all the time. Move things around and think about who you're fighting. That's the main thing. So anyway, this has probably run a little longer than I wanted to, but I hope some of this was useful, and I will be doing more videos next weekend. I've got work for the next few days, so there'll be a bit of a lag here, but anyway, have a great day and have fun.